5. So,
Okay.
Good enough? All right. Call meeting to order and we can start with the roll call.
Jason Work,
Here.
Tiffany Yant, here, Tony Bevel,
Here.
Dorian Lible,
Here.
Lisa Patterson, here, Richard Amici.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, approval of the minutes. Does anybody have any comments or corrections? If not, take a motion. Approve.
Motion to approve minutes from last meeting.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, citizen comment. We have
No citizen comment.
no citizen comment. All right, on number 5 already. Business city charter committee representative selection.
On this one. Is that right?
Yes,
Thanks
yeah.
so much.
I haven't heard anything since. I guess the last email exchange. But if there's anything else I need to do.
Here, I think we were looking just for probably a motion and vote on it.
Oh, okay, yeah, thanks for volunteering.
I move that we accept Lisa's volunteerism.
Second.
Okay, any discussions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Say aye and thank you.
All right, meeting cancellations November and December. It's always fall on Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I think the last, since we started, I think we've always not done November and December. You guys good with that?
Yeah, that plus flu season. We'll have half the attendance anyway. It probably makes sense to cancel.
If there's anything that comes up that's pressing, there you could always. Resolve it via email or. Could be shared via email at least for us to review.
Yeah, we can't make decisions or anything, but
Yeah.
Sure, if there was something really pressing, Jason and I would probably. Confer with each other and then get a hold of you. Jason, chair, as I always call it. Clarity. And see if we had to throw together a impromptu meeting outside of our regular dates.
yeah, we've never had anything that pressing yet, so. But you never know. Do we need to like formalize that or?
No, it's good.
All right, new traffic safety request. There was one, but we'll cover it during the pending. Because it's kind of coincides with another one. Which is the first one of the pending traffic safety requests. So. This one is a lot of different. Numbers, so I'm not gonna read them, but the request to lower speed limit, add more lighting, sidewalks, bike lanes and crosswalks on ED road. No, no, this isn't the new one. This is all the other ones.
When we're at the final stages where everything's been approved by ODOT, by county, we're just waiting for installation.
And they confirmed they're gonna do the E road, speed limit sign changes on Monday. And I'm trying to get them to remind them that work is approved too, so they can come out and do it at the same time, so. Hopefully they get done at the same time, but their service request is for Edie on Monday.
So we'll just keep it on there until we get those speed changes.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Any other questions, comments on that one?
But trying to hate all the no standing sign and all of that. Or is that a different?
It's a different one.
That's a different. Okay.
All right, so we'll go on to 22-006, request to lower speed limits, stop speed bumps on northbound, southbound tower, or install stop signs with flashing lights. It's basically speed limit sign.
Yeah, say the speed limit, same thing, it's been approved, waiting for it to get done and everything else is gonna be. Over road improvements up to the speed signal. Or if they do the alternative analysis, they're gonna do that with the Sherwood West project.
Any other comments on that one? Questions? All right, we'll go to 22-10, parking concern on St. Charles Way to Pathway, requesting no parking signs in the area.
You want me to address that one? Dan and I talked about that one and I've made a recommendation to put up crosswalk closed barricades. And I know Jason, you had wanted to study it a little bit more, and I think we can do both. And just get the barricades up because there's no real continuous pathway on the other side and just. It's an immediate concern of ours, so the public works director and I agree that just put the, the metal.
Yeah.
Crosswalk closed each side, do that, and then. If we want to expend monies on a crosswalk safety study and stuff for that local road, we can do that, but. I think we'll want to rank all the locations together as a committee and. Pick out the ones that are top priority, but. See how it works with the barricade up once we put it there. Because there really isn't a trail on the other side, so there's not a whole lot of need to. Use it as a crosswalk. Even though it's still. A little bit awkward with the barricades up.
Yeah.
And they present issues also. As far as hitting those and, those. Really aren't big. By the next meeting, we should have barricades up there too, the metal barricades, and then we can. Maybe revisit this. As far as what kind of study we want to do. Because I don't really know if we want to do formal.
Yeah, I don't know if there's, I don't know if I don't know.
Come up with a design
That needs to be
together,
done, but,
something.
or just the fact that you have a sidewalk that's essentially a barricaded end. From all intents and purposes now, doesn't even connect to the street, so.
Yeah.
Is it needed anymore, or is there some other way to? Filter people into the street safely?
And is it a drop off area too? Does it function that way? If it is, then there's a crosswalk. There's a drop off.
I'd be interested to hear if you guys get calls after that goes up, like what's this?
Yeah, then everyone will notice the problem. That's me, my kid brought running down the pathway onto the street for me to see it, so. But that's just our solution that we think will help immediately, but.
Yeah. Anybody else have questions or comments on that?
That's all I have.
Yeah, I just want to say, I went and I looked at that in person and it just seems like it'd be such a low traffic area where. Closing entry to the school there would directly impact a few people. Who probably use it daily for their kids to enter the school property. But it's probably so few that to spend any real money to improve the crosswalk area there, I just don't think that makes any sense. So putting the closed barriers there, yet still having the gate open. It will enable people who really want to use it. And it'll shield the city from liability. And I think that's probably the best course of action for a situation like that.
You're saying that those would probably be the best solution, is just. Make it so that you can't leave the school grounds through that.
So if the school wants to keep the gate open, that's their prerogative. The city closing the crosswalk to say this isn't a safe place to cross is the best solution, I feel.
A good explanation, much quicker explanation.
All right, we'll move on to 23-001 and 1.1. regarding Sherwood High School parking lot traffic, Hay Road. Those issues.
We were successful in linking up with the schools. With the principal over there, superintendent, their director who's head of their transportation as well for the bus system. Their facilities manager, et cetera. So, productive meeting, in that they were able to bring to light some of the concerns that they have from their umbrella, right? And as we kind of always said, we had potential solutions, but those were just from our narrow perspective. We don't hear the struggles that they necessarily have. They're able to articulate some of those, as you know, either in our motion or in your discussions. There was a lot of the talk from you as a committee of wanting to open up Kruger Road to be able to provide access for drop off at back to schools through Kruger Road instead of everything being funneled onto the other side by Hay. We're talking with school districts, they have a valid concern in that if they push a lot of traffic, drop off traffic up Kruger Road and up to the back of the school that way, that will get congested, and then their ability for their buses to get in and out, because that's their way to get in and out to their bus drop off site. That they'll get bottlenecked there as well, and then they won't be able to get in and out and maintain their schedule. So they talk about schedule being very important because it's not just their bus schedule that's at the high school, but that then impacts the rest of their day. In regards to other drop offs for the other schools, et cetera. So valid concern from their part. There's a lot of other ideas that were explored in that meeting in regards to realizing that was not going to be an option, but still having to push traffic all onto Hay, but trying to see what other drop off options there were. The conclusion of the meeting, where we kind of moved the needle on this was that they had said what they'd like to do is try to message out to parents, et cetera, that obviously the standard front door drop off is still an option, but using Hay, you can still go to the backside there as well and speed up your drop off there. So while maybe not our number one solution as a committee that you brought forth, it is moving the needle, and they're trying to look at an option. Ultimately, the best solutions that were presented in that meeting, and then I think also for you as a committee, was the alteration of the actual striping patterns that exist on Elwood for making that turn there. So, and I think it's Jason, you said that's something that's to be looked at, but that's obviously not something that's in right here. So, so for right now, I think that's what, as far as we're gonna be able to move the needle. Like I said, on this one, the school district is going to try to message that, to see if that improves it. No guarantees, but they are willing to kind of go back to the drawing board on it again, and they're not seeing improvement. In regards to signage, we also said that there was impacts because of that traffic flow, people then spilling over into Orchard Hill Lane and onto Fisk across the street from the school to pick up kids there. We've seen an improvement in regards to that there for drop off and for pickup. There's still some going on, but for those that are there, they're traditionally doing it on the proper side of the street where they can park. Signage that was there that said no parking on one side of the street. Jason, you can comment this, but the signage was erected a couple weeks ago.
About a month ago, yeah.
Month ago. In regards to about no stopping, no standing in those residential side streets, and then also Rick Jason on Hay in front of the high school club. We're able to get that to fruition. So,
Yeah, on that street light.
I guess in summary, and we're open to discussion and your thoughts of the committee, but at this point, we kind of think we've got that signage up. We're hoping that's gonna improve as well as just the enforcement action in that area. Working with the school in regards to trying to get some students that were parking and stuff on those residential streets to try to shift back over to the lot. In regards to the whole different traffic pattern for the drop off aspect, like I said, that one's out of our hands now that you were just talking about before in the previous case we were talking about. It's in the school district's hands and they're putting their best foot forward.
I can tell you from the county side, the county traffic analyst is actually looking at the striping on Elward. And if it's possible to change that, because it's a little bit odd where that left turn is and the sort of entrance exit to the Elks Lodge. And he doesn't particularly like the way it's set up. So he was actually out there the other day studying it to see if there's a way that it can be adjusted. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time, but certainly I'd like to see a shift in the way that that's done so that the left turns, you know, can have their left turn and a through can still continue. And not back up into the roundabout so badly, you know, at certain times of the day.
Is there, I've never actually been into the high school area. Is there enough room on Hay Road for it to be 2 lanes heading towards the school on Elward? Because what I noticed, that this is my daily commute in the morning, it is 2 lanes. So what I noticed is the left turn lane, people utilize the far left of it, and no one uses that second left turn lane, maybe 1 or 2 cars. So you'll have 15 cars backed up, then they merge over where coming off the roundabout, it's 2 lanes that merge into one. Now you're hitting the tail of the far left turn lane with nobody feeding into the right of the left turn lane. And that's, it's frustrating for me as someone who needs to go all the way through to get to Roy Rogers, and it's confusing why no one wants to use the farther right of the left turn lanes. I assume because as soon as they turn, they have to merge, but it sounds like a bit.
Sort of Elks kind of steals a bit of storage from it too.
There's sort of 2-part answer to it, and part of it is the striping on Elward to turn onto Hay and the Elks and the way that left turn is there. Part of it then is what we were discussing and why they went to talk to the school, because the outer left turn lane goes all the way down Hay past the main parking lot to the high school to the second parking lot and then down to the connector road on the back. And that's why the question was asked whether or not that connector road could be opened so cars could come down, drop off, and then continue around to go past the church and leave. Because it would allow for that outside left cars to take that road and bypass the main entrance, drop their kids off at the back entrance where the student parking is anyways, and then continue out and leave and go back to the roundabout.
Because everyone's trying to merge on Hay to get into this parking lot.
Correct. Everyone, yeah, that's why nobody uses the outer left turn lane, because they all want to drop off at the main entrance. So the school sounds like they're going to try to promote people going around to the student parking entrance back there. But then they would have to come back down Hay. They wouldn't be allowed to go around because there's a gate there. And
Is it that hard to do that with? Do parents, are they avoiding going down temporary access road because they don't want to turn around with all the kids and?
with all the kids, it would be, it could be rather chaotic, and then it'll end up backing up, coming back down Hay because the school won't let them go back past the church, where it would be more of like a continuous circuit, you know. And I get that they're worried about the schedule of buses, but there's 9 buses or something that come through there, and there's hundreds of cars.
Who's at the county, that John or somebody on?
You know, Matt Dorado, he's the traffic analyst. He's the one that's looking at it.
I reached out to him, just looking at the Elks too. I mean, maybe he's got the same idea of where we just do it, whether you're going one way or the other, it's just a median and maybe a single turn lane that just stays green forever. May be a solution. We just got to run the traffic studies.
The other thing I had thought about is that, I mean, just randomly, that green space between the main parking lot and Elward. I feel like they should have, when they designed a right out only onto Elward, just to alleviate some of the people leaving out to Hayde. Because a lot of people do want to go down Elwood back to the roundabout, so you'd have two different directions you could leave the parking lot, but it never got designed that way. You know what I mean? Or in that green space there, you could just have a right turn back onto Elwood, past the signal far enough.
So how is the school going to communicate, to parents that, this is the suggested route?
Probably via email.
That's fine specifically, but I assume through their weekly updates, et cetera. I haven't seen anything in there as of yet. But yeah.
So they'll hammer that, not hammer, but hopefully.
Message that out, yeah.
This, so far this year, it's all, it's all the same as previous year.
Right. Regards to traffic back.
Yeah. Yeah.
That explains why there's nobody in that far east turn lane. It's just students parking, really.
And that's why with their solution of saying, hey, look, we're gonna message out that we say, yeah, you can still drop off your kids at the front door entrance there, but your secondary option, if you don't want to wait in that long line, is to come to the back here and drop off back here. The reason is because then those people that are on Elbert, they could take, as you just said, that outside left-hand turn lane and be in that and be all the way straight through. So it's the attempt of trying to find a compromise.
Did you mention potentially some of the students being able to do like permits that could come in, just a few of them from Kruger, or is it nobody gets in through Kruger?
Yeah, that's the.
What about the north middle parking lot? So instead of going all the way to Hayde,
Here,
having some kind of, circulation there now.
that's their staff parking lot. So that staff parking lot that was discussed. Obviously. There's impacts if they open that up to being. Just to drop off, the access to it is right here. It's controlled by electronic arm, that they have to have a swipe card to get in and out, so. The school district would need to redesign that as well, so there's not really a quick fix for them. And obviously contractual reasons and stuff, I'm sure.
Where on this map is the pedestrian bridge going to land? Right by the roundabout somewhere?
It goes down here, across here, and it kind of comes out here.
Okay, so it's still gonna be elevated above the roundabout?
Yep.
And, okay, so taking that first right through the roundabout by the Elks Lodge and dropping kids off there, they're not gonna be able to link up with the bridge landing and continue across. That's not an option to use an off-site turnaround area or anything to build.
That's correct.
Okay.
Closest would probably be the YMCA, having kids walk from there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay,
So I think the question for you, I think, is that at least from the police department's perspective. I think with the signage that we've had added in there. The conversations that we've had, to be frank, I think like I said before, we move the needle as far as we're gonna get. We don't control the school district, and there, it's tough. It's not, like they said, there's no real easy solution. We've got their impacts as well they've got to consider, so. This is kind of like their first step to try to make it better. So the question becomes, as a committee, has this moved far enough for you to remove it from your agenda, or do you want it to move? And if so, do you have any direction for us?
The school district going to allow us to make any changes? I mean, it's a school change.
I have the city has no power control in regards to decisions they make in regards to opening up Kruger and opening up this back access road. It's a decision that lies in their hands.
I was just thinking, maybe suggest, parents, students, A through L, you go to this.
That's what we did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, the recommendation was that of those like 3 plans that we've given, okay. That was the one was half the student population goes through by here, the other half the other way, so. And we guess, yeah, it's a hard no in regards to opening up Kruger.
So if there's nothing that we can do to push the school other than all this information and kind of watch how they run with it, can we prioritize restriping outward as something that our committee focuses on, and that way giving the straight through lane for Elward, and maybe, I'm not sure how to, draw attention to that outside left turn lane. But I mean, that seems to be forward is where we would put focus to push everyone onto the school's property, and then it's their problem at that point.
You're correct in essence.
It's inside the city. I mean, we need to. It makes sense to at least discuss it or make a motion to.
County.
It's the county.
Yeah, it's the county, but I mean, we're partners and it makes, they don't want their road. Having turn lanes here.
And they are, let's say, looking at it actively, so. They don't like it either. So.
But you're right, that is.
That's the only thing. you have
Of the
to
things that we now have additional movement on, that would be the one.
That would be the only portion that can remain.
At least have a idea of when it's gonna be repaved, and maybe that's the strategy is within 4 years. We'll have a paving project, and then we can restripe it then, or get some political pressure to restripe it now. I don't know, but it's not working the way we want it to. For sure.
I have a question. So when the school was approved, as far as the Kruger Road, was it very, did the traffic study basically say it's gonna limit it to buses only?
Yeah, and it would open up when the Sherwood West area develop more, and I think that's kind of the stance that they're taking, is maybe something can change here when this develops, or even the signal here could become a roundabout perhaps when the big $15 million road project comes in, and that's in the Sherwood West plan that shows roundabouts everywhere, so. And I think in this traffic signal was best because there's a house there and right of way concerns, and I think a signal functions a bit better as your main entrance into the school, so. I think they're just gonna, sounds like they're just gonna stick with that. The traffic study says exactly that. Wait till future development, then consider changing traffic patterns, but it does say that. That would be buses and wouldn't be used as a through drive until Sherwood West came on.
I thought we had a leg on.
That's a good question. I asked that same question.
Yeah,
First,
we looked into it.
All right. So this is a high school, and I know that when I was a safe routes school coordinator for the county, there was a concern as far as an elementary school in definitely Beaverton School District, and they had some issues in regards to parked cars along Cornell Road. And so what they ended up doing was changing the timeline in regards to the buses. So that all the kids that were taking the bus, they get out like 5 minutes earlier. So then they cleared out the bus lane. And then everyone else, the parents could utilize that bus depot after. But again, that's an elementary school. We're not talking about the same population as a high school. One high school in the entire city. So, and they were, and again, this was a different school district that was willing to, work with the principal in regards to as part of the safe routes to school, so that there were some standing, lines of cars, so that. And
Buses go first, I like that.
yeah, bus goes first, and it literally cleared the whole area within 10 minutes. And then they were able to use the bus depot as far as the general public or the parents. But I wasn't part of that meeting, so I don't know. And I know it's been very difficult in regards to getting movement as far as the school district. So I commend you that you guys did meet.
I believe that the same high school buses earlier are running the elementary kids around. Is that how this district works? So after they do the elementary drop off, then they're picking up high school kids and drop them at high school or middle school in between or something.
Yeah, typically.
So, changing one might have a ripple effect because they're all staggered.
And they already changed the start time of the middle school for this year to accommodate the buses.
Oh, really? Okay.
So they start 15 minutes after the high school. Because there were so many issues last year with buses being late to the middle school and the high school.
So I would support keeping it open, maybe shifting focus to the striping as well. The other thought I had was, that
The signs are done. That's complete. So
Yeah.
the only thing left is.
the other thought I had was that one of the things that we're supposed to do as a committee is public education. And since the school has chosen to take the route of trying to inform people of how to do it, I wonder if there's something we can do on our end from an education standpoint to help just further promote whatever they come up with. Yeah, I don't know what that would look like, and I feel like it's kind of walking a fine line because it's the school and we don't have control over the school and all that, but I don't know, do the citizens of Sherwood know that we see this as an issue and we're trying to solve it? And there's an idea and maybe a few people know what a potential solution could be, but no one else knows, and we could help to.
Is it appropriate to remind, like, at city, for the citizens, we're like, well, you can always attend a city council meeting or submit, because it just gets over our head, and for this one, it's like, do we recommend forward with an idea or something like that? I don't wanna
Yeah, I don't want
make it, I don't wanna tell anybody.
I want to make it sound like we're
Yeah.
not getting anywhere, so
I
we're
just
going this other avenue, but maybe that's why I was thinking maybe like. If they have a plan and the plan is to do X, Y, Z, but we also put out some sort of a public. Notice or something on the whatever social media that Sherwood has that says like, hey, we know you people, like, I mean, citizens of Sherwood. That there's this issue out here and just want to let you know, hey, we've been working on it. We've been trying to solve this problem. We met with the school district has a plan. Here it is, try it out, see if it works. I don't know if if that's worth it or not. I don't know what you guys think.
I wonder if there's a way we can use the police department Facebook page. We've got a really strong following there. Maybe a Crimey Chronicle episode where they do kind of the school resource officers do a drop off simulation or something, something more directed towards the high schoolers, because I mean, that's the issue here is it's the high school traffic that's impeding the regular flow. And maybe some sort of acted out, here's where you can go and look how quick and easy that was. And they grab their backpack and hop out of the squad car and go running to school or something. That might be a way to message. Here's a way to utilize this new approach to drop off.
Or maybe. And the reason they say that is that there's a break point between what we, the police department, and what we, the city, can take on in regards to what we can do versus what lies in someone else's hands. And so we got to be careful. Just, I think, as one of you were saying, I think, threading that needle of not stepping on toes. So we can support their initiatives. But we don't want to pay for it. So.
Yeah, did someone tell you to do that? Came up today where we're like, oh, this is for erosion control, a good idea. And then we're like, no one told us to do it. So we're just gonna hold off.
I guess part of where I'm coming from is if this is a sticking point for a lot of people, not even just the people that are going to the high school, but people that are trying to commute north to south to this area, and they're annoyed or frustrated with it. And they're probably thinking to themselves, you know, city is not doing anything about this. Why isn't anything getting done?
I've been late, I've been 30 minutes late sitting there to see your 20, and if we could do a video of the city engineer missing it.
They have no clue that we've been, you know,
Working on
this
it,
for the
yeah.
last 6 months, and it would be nice to just to
Maybe
share that we work on it.
We
that-
could put out some information, I think, in regards to our social media, like you were saying, in regards to that this is a project that the track safety committee has been working cooperatively with the school district on.
I think they should just promote the traffic study. It's like, they don't want to change that's the configuration. It's in the study till Sherwood West comes on. And then focus on the striping. And I don't really like to promote that we're working a deal on striping. It's just like to go work it with the county and just make it happen quickly and just. I don't know. I'm just.
I would think at a pretty high level, just, you know, hey, there's this problem and we're working with the district. I would focus more on. The district, I would try to get the district to buy off on whatever it is we do, just to keep good faith with them, but if they are putting out information that says. You know, use this area as an alternate drop off to improve circulation, then we echo that. I don't even know if I'd go into the striping thing, because it's not really resolved yet, but.
Yeah, I think we should keep that in the down and just. Hopefully that can just get fixed one day and like we did at Oregon, talking. That was just a meeting with Stacy Treadler and they went out and did it. And it was that quickly, that quick. So,
it would be good if, you know, if the school district, if they do put out on their weekly newsletter, this new update with, you know, dropping off at the student parking, if they sort of maybe mentioned in that newsletter that they were working with the police department and the city and the traffic safety committee to come up with this, you know, this idea to help improve things. So it looks like people are actually collaborating and it's not just one way or the highway type of thing, you know, because we are actually trying to collaborate with them. We are trying to work with them. You know, we're just the traffic safety committee trying to help them understand that there is a traffic safety concern and these are our recommendations, you know, so it would look more like this, the school district is working with us and we're working with them, the police department's working with them and, you know, and so maybe we could recommend to the school district that they actually include that in with their newsletter, you know, saying in working with the traffic safety committee and the police department, we're asking parents during drop off to start trying to utilize that outer left turn lane more and drop your students off not only at the main entrance, but at the student parking lot entrance, you know, and this is why. So I don't know if we can do that, but I think it would be helpful for everyone.
If this is crossing boundaries. City, school wise, I would be willing to, if you're willing to give me contact info, I'd be willing to approach. the School district on behalf of the traffic safety committee, saying we as a traffic safety committee would like to put out a, you know, a public announcement of some sort. To help encourage what they're also trying to do. I'm willing to do that if that doesn't cross any line.
Simultaneously, two messages, the district puts one out and the city. The committee, the city puts one out.
what's the messages that are going out? Like, I don't think everyone in town knows that the pedestrian bridge project's going out for it. Going out for bid and gonna be under construction in 3 months and be done in 18 months. A lot of folks don't know that. And maybe, I mean, I would be satisfied with that $15-20 million bridge. I mean, what else can you do than that? I mean, but just put the messages out. Maybe the school district does have good ideas and we're just not. It's on their webpage, but I'm with you, Jason. I think that's a good idea. Someone to push it a little bit without, because I'm thinking more safe routes to school and establishing a relationship to fill gaps for sidewalk infill projects and who's responsible for that. And we may not flush that out for 3 years. So I'm gonna be apprehensive to.
But I think this double approach in regards to sending out information, public service announcement. I think it's a great idea, but I just want to make sure that the school district is really, what is the timing for them as far as sending out that message? So that we can coordinate in regards to also putting we do a lot of public engagement and planning, so there's social media, we have a Twitter account. I mean, there's lots of places that we get, next door, there's places that we can get the message across. And I think, a higher level versus the nitty gritty of, oh, we're gonna do striping, I don't think that's where we need to be.
Staying closed
Just
for,
talking about the whole goal of taking that, other access point is pretty much the message to alleviate some of the concerns that the community has right now. And something to the point that in partnership with the school district,
Yes,
that's
I was gonna say
that's the key, partnership with the school district, but we have to make sure we have buy-in from the school district. So whoever their PIO, public information officer is, make sure that the messaging is consistent and that they are okay for us to share that same information.
What we'll do then, based on, because you're saying similar things, which is great. We'll connect with them, we'll find out when they're going to be putting their messaging up. We'll get you that information that obviously will be outside of one of our meetings, we'll get that to you in an email. So that, you guys can probably communicate in email regards to some kind of messaging that you want to put out in conjunction with at the same time.
Yeah, well, we can't really communicate as a group, but outside of this, but like I said, I'm willing to volunteer to be the point person, maybe two of us or something like that, if we want to have two people, and then we can just work with you and come up with however it is and
not have it be Dan.
Yeah.
move on.
That's fine.
Yeah, that works good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll let you know what they say.
So I have a question, the pedestrian bridge, how much does the school hope, to alleviate the problem? Once it's built?
I can't say now, but I do remember a few years ago when we were promoting the bridge, they were unaffiliated with it. So we're not really promoting or against it, or against it. So
Was there a study in regards to, based on once the bridge is built, on how many students is projected to utilize it?
there are studies, but I don't know exactly if that's in there or not. I doubt that, but clearly it's gonna have some benefit for the access to the school, but it's hard to say. I mean, electric bikes are taking off more than ever now, so I don't know how. I mean, the pedestrian bridge itself could be chaos, so that's a traffic jam getting in with the school, because it's the only way to get there, so. That's the other message we can say is pedestrian project's coming, let's see how it works then. And not really mention the striping, we can just say we're working on that and Haight is, or the alternative temporary access road is not going to be a through road until Sherwood West comes online and gets mostly developed.
All right, so we need a motion, it sounds like, for keeping the item open, focusing on striping and public education.
Not to muddy things, but I remember one of the original requests came from a resident that lives at the end of Haight. And so their concern was egress from their home. And so I don't know if there's any way that like potentially even just like the residents that live at the end of Haight would be allowed to use the temporary access, or I guess I don't know if that would take. Cause I'm sure they're like gated and everything now, so.
Yeah, they're all swipe carded and there's no way to do it.
I guess I was just wanting to be cognizant of the original
Yeah.
concern of one of the requesters about.
Yeah, they were at
egress
the
from
end of the
property.
day trying to leave type thing.
Yeah,
Stop understanding signs, if
That's the south part of that.
clear the way out of there and help. Probably not.
It'll improve it, yeah.
It doesn't, so now people park there on the gate,
There's some really
that definitely was causing part of the congestion problem.
But you're right, they are still having to deal with.
Yeah.
All the traffic trying to go to the one,
And are you guys enforcing?
yes.
Okay, great. No,
I
as far as
say-
like if they're stopping,
I say it tentatively in regards to enforcing for us often is education, so. So when we, the messaging is that when we start to see repeat people doing the exact same thing, then we'll transition into enforcement. So,
Was it's illegal by law, right? I mean, in Pine Street, we had the same thing come up where, but we didn't want to pay for the stop and stand.
so where we had the signage up, we put them up, didn't really have good teeth, so. Signage is there.
So that temporary access here is on school.
I feel like you said it really well. A motion to continue conversations with the school about joint messaging and straight, and then Jason to continue to work with the county potentially on striping or signal timing improvements. And
Second thought. Both official, yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
let's call it good.
Said I moved at the beginning.
I think this is gonna be an issue for a long time.
Okay, any discussion on that motion before we vote? Yeah, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? So, just a clarification, so now we made a motion on this, but it's not leaving the agenda, so like future, then this little blurb about what's kind of like the update is gonna have the motion with it, like written. So we know in 3 months when we meet again, what we talked about, that's kind of what we talked about, right?
It's in the packet, right?
Track sheet.
Oh, the traffic spreadsheet, we'll update on there.
Yeah, the Excel spreadsheet, I'll have a motion on there.
Cool.
But we'll probably have a bullet point form under it, kind of like, our bullet point under it, or
Yeah.
it says a little bit of something what we're doing,
Yeah.
so. We'll touch on that.
All right, we're gonna move on to 23-005, requesting improvements to Villa Road. Road repavement, speed limit signs, painted lines.
Don't have any update on that, but the motion last time was to do, I think, some alley. Potentially speed limit signs are due just a minor treatment, just this. Shut up the charity's pathway, and that's still the plan of attack, and then. Villa Road is gonna have to be paved and improved, and we'll address the issues. The bigger issues with that. And so no change, no update on this.
Okay. 23-006. Request for speed bumps at three-way stop and division. So when we talked about stop sign,
Yeah, okay, so no speed humps because that's unsafe. I've made a recommendation just install the third stop sign, and I haven't heard back on what the procedures are. 'Cause years ago, city or our city even did a no stop sign can be changed, taken or moved without like a city council resolution. And then we went the other way where the city manager was fine removing and taking stop signs out and putting them in. So we'll find out that we want to do it that way. This one seems pretty straightforward. So next, I could probably do an email update on that one if we have to. We're taking it to city council or it's getting installed tomorrow, which I hope is the latter.
sounds good. I think there's some code enforcement on bushes or something like that too.
So, thanks for reminding. We connected with the homeowner there, which has got all trimmed back, and so that part is back in fun.
Great. Okay, anybody comments, questions? All right, 23-007, request no parking on one side of Smith between Meineke and Ventnor.
No update on that. We're not going to lose track of Nancy's request for that. There were reasons, for some reason, that we didn't put stop signs up there before. I don't know why we haven't done that. And I'm making a soft recommendation to put the no parking signs up to the city manager. So similar to the no parking signs, we'll find out if he wants to handle it similar to the previous city manager, or maybe we'll find out why there are not known parking signs on Smith, but we're gonna have these logged into our GIS system too, so we can keep, if we get 10 complaints about Smithville, just always be there. And we can consider it resolved when signs are up, or provide you with a reason why there are no signs there, so. Circle back with the fire department and find out, you know, if it's wide enough, we can at least get a statement from them that no parking signs make sense or not, so.
There was a new one. I think maybe it's not on the agenda because this was related to something that we removed from the agenda in the past. But we probably talk about it. And then just to acknowledge that it's here. and-
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna stump that one in here on the agenda.
So we don't have this on the agenda just because we were like, we didn't want to give it another, like a 2023 case number because it already was addressed in a 2022 case. So you guys are all familiar with the aspects of Sunset Road and the crosswalks like Woodhaven. We've received a lot of complaints over multiple years here in regards to the crosswalks that are there and even the flashing lights that are there, just not really helping out enough. We received another complaint on it. So in this complaint, it was recommended, they were saying install blinking pedestrian crossings. So like I said, we didn't do another agenda for you to vote on. Since it was already pushed to the CIP project list. Back in 2022. And if I remember correctly, Jason commented, but I think there's the whole study that's going on.
Yeah, we have
And we're just kind of.
This is great comments here too. Because it's where our study's done and we're in review and we're gonna present that to our city council at a work session in December. And really, it covers most of the stuff that is discussed here and more. And right now it's showing Woodhaven and Sunset being a little bit more top priority than Timberville and Sunset. And I think this person points out exactly why, is it's a little bit more distance to cross, even though Timberville's on a horizontal curve and might have some lesser sight distance. It's the folks coming off the highway that make it really kind of a dangerous situation. And we're gonna sit with our council and discuss with them the options, because there's more of a more long-term solution that we can do that would extend turn lanes off of the highway further back to get to Newburgh. Put up a concrete median, we'd have to take some landscaping out and provide a crosswalk refuge, so you can cross into kind of steps and then look at the oncoming traffic. Potentially getting rid of the dual turn lanes off the highway. That's a big project that's gonna take more than 2 years, and so we don't have an answer of, well, the pedestrian bridge is gonna be open in 18 months, so let's sign off on what sort of project we want at Woodhaven Drive. Maybe it's just flashers and some pavement enhancements and not do the concrete median and more of the traffic capacity improvements then. So similar with Timberville, I get complaints about what are we gonna do now versus waiting 5 years. So that's the kind of intent of the work session, is what interim ideas can we come up with to make it safer? Because I have the same issues where you cross and it's just not enough time to walk across when someone's going 40. And even my kids have dropped stuff in the road where you have to, yank them out of the road and their stuff stays in the road. And it's just, what can we do? So
Which work session?
December 5th, I think.
Okay,
And we'll discuss other ideas of maybe we can make a traffic safety committee recommendation to purchase some of the advanced speed notification signs that remind people that they're going 35 instead of 30 for a warning to speed or something like that in advance of Timberville. So those are kind of cheaper solutions that might work.
So I've noticed up and down Sunset, there's a lot of those those cords that count or.
That's part of the traffic study.
Okay, so there's a big plan for Sunset that's gonna evolve.
Oh, yeah, well, we wanted to get the data from summer and then we wanted to compare it with the data during school, so we could kind of get. Because we were collecting data right when school was about to start. And then we wanted to go out there and we put, so that you saw 2 sets of tubes go down. I think they were there in the summer and then they had some recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just trying to get a full idea of what everything is doing in that corridor as far as. Pinehurst even there and there's a whole other corridor, yeah, the study from Pinehurst up to Maine. So we'll probably have to do another crosswalk safety study just for that section.
Okay, so there might be some long-term planning regarding speed, crosswalks, maybe lots of changes or enhancements, or at least understanding what's happening so we can plan how to better.
Yeah, there's a Sunset Boulevard kind of overall as corridor improvements in our long-term transportation system plan, which is really big. I mean, it's going to do all those things, but not anywhere in the, if we don't have that in the near term. We do have paving projects for Sunset that are just gonna restore the pavement, and we'll probably do some striping improvements then, but nothing major is planned.
So Jason, just to clarify, did you say that the study's done and you're presenting it to council on December 5th?
Yeah.
So with that study being done, as far as all the data has been collected, are there recommendations?
Yes, and we're reviewing that and expanding the recommendations, so we're not just going RFP flashers, that's it. Because some of our counselors might want the Hawk system or nothing at all, so we want to provide at least 3 recommendations for each location.
So can you send out an email or some sort of blurb letting us know on the 5th that, you're going to be presenting this?
Yeah, I'll find out when we can share the draft study too, because that's always the moment where you can share it with the residents, but it's not final. And so sometimes we want to wait till it's been signed off by council before we post it to the public webpage. So
Is there a recommendation to improve the school zone beacons that are already there to just modernize them? Dual 12-inch, is that part of that Sunset Boulevard plan? Because they're just single 8-inch heads there and they're not very
I don't
visible.
think we caught that specifically, but I think that's the overall theme is we would bring everything into compliance with the current METD.
So it would be inexpensive. It already exists. It's just a matter of upgrading the 12-inch LED heads and putting 2 up instead of one little 8-inch.
And I've always assumed those would be part of the project.
I'd be interested in attending that work session, not necessarily to say anything, but just to hear. I think that this corridor is probably like on the hot list of most number of requests.
The work sessions are open to the public,
Okay,
so anyone can attend. It's just typically within conference room A, so it's not in the big community room, but the one adjacent to it.
okay.
No, actually, I'll ask if I can just share the draft study with you guys now. I mean, for the traffic safety committee, it's gotta get reviewed. This by the committee.
Okay. I wanted to add a comment about the latest request that came in and just say that I think that it was really well written with some really well thought out ideas. And that was kind of nice to see. Instead of just a complaint, there's like somebody really thought about it and had some good ideas. So
Yeah, I was actually wondering if we wanted to give it a number, just so that we have a number associated with the request to tag in the GIS database.
Yeah, I think that's fair, even if they're the same.
And we don't need
exact
to
things. I think we should be able to submit the same exact concern. If it's not been resolved, you should have the right to come in and create a whole nother
give it a
document.
point something number. You could give it
Yeah.
a point, whatever. It's
You want us to auto shift it right over though to the GIS kind of CIP project list? Don't put it on your pending.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's worth a response to the individual.
Oh, yeah, I think they should get a copy of the study too. And I'm gonna forward their comments to Kittles and let them know, 'cause some of this stuff, it helps to have those public comments and help the consultants get their message out versus, you know, something they think might be controversial that might be said by that person and allow them to get that in the study. So I'm gonna forward this over to them.
Anyone else have any comments or questions on that one? That non-agenda item? All right, and then the next item is the city engineer update on pending city projects, the GIS map.
Well, we've tested it out. It works. It's a little applet that you enter the same information that we have off the forms and it works. Can't tell you, I've gotten very far into it. Our GIS leads. Last day was today. And our GIS technician in engineering is also our site inspector, so it's been hard to get stuff done in there, so it's very easy to use though, so hopefully we can start entering new case files with the applet, and I'll circle back with Sabrina and she should be able to use it, and it's something that I'm hoping we can do more at the city of just getting GIS data entered easily versus waiting for the GIS staff to do it or wait for a spreadsheet to populate, so.
Any other questions, comments on that stuff? All right, we'll move on to committee comments. Anybody have anything they wanted to mention?
I have something, it's kind of a PSA I wanted to put out there. We talked about it last week at the police board meeting. And that's just that the camera for speed enforcement is on at Roy Rogers in 99. And of note, when you're traveling north on 99 and it's 45 miles an hour, then signs start warning you that the speed is reduced for construction to 35. And it's reduced as soon as you enter that intersection, and the camera is triggered you off at 46. So if you're still going 45, even though you're warned with the signs and you enter that intersection, it will trigger the cameras. So just be aware for everyone listening at home and when you're PSA that it comes at you quick. About halfway through Safeway, the sign comes up saying 35 construction, and if you don't adjust your speed, you are now subject to that camera. So FYI, it's live and real, but now for about a month now.
Thanks. Anyone else?
I have a Safe Routes to School update. So the great part is both Sherwood's school board has adopted a resolution as far as for the Safe Routes to School program, which is awesome. And so acknowledging that is important. Simultaneously, we also the Sherwood City Council also provided or signed off on a resolution having that the importance of the partnership, but also the Safe Routes to School program. So that's a very big first start. Unfortunately, we weren't able to participate in like international walk or enroll to school day, which is typically in October. But hopefully we'll partner up in regards to doing, working with this particular school, but again, it's coordination with the school district and making sure that we have a principal on board.
I've asked this question a million times, but how far away is Sherwood from demographics of being underserved? We're not close.
We're not
Okay.
close, no. No, so probably Jason, the only reason why you're probably asking is that if we had a population, a significant population of underserved students, then we would qualify for a local match for grants, capital improvement grants from 40% that's required, which is for us. It goes down to 20%. But we're very fortunate that our population doesn't have a lot of underserved students, so.
That's the part that I think gets missed as you see it on TV and everyone's like, yeah, Safe Routes to School, what are we getting in Sherwood? And then but we're not in the program that was on the news, it's a little bit more,
I mean, it's, we can definitely get capital, monies as far as capital projects. It's just, we have to provide 40% of the match. And typically, how we would see that is, we hope that the school district would partner up 20, and then the local jurisdiction would also partner up 20% of whatever the ask may be. But it's not just capital projects as far as Safe Routes to School. There's a lot of encouragement, those activities like walk to school days. There's education, teaching the little ones how we can walk to school instead of ride on the back seat and get dropped off. There's benefits as far as health benefits. There's just so many other components to it, programmatic aspects of it, and not just capital improvements. So it's a balance. So it's a holistic program. So that's why there's lots of things that we can be doing, especially being able to identify a particular school that needs assistance. And usually we start with elementary. Like the one Archer Glen is really close to like Sunset. And there could be rapid flashing beacons that could recommend, but again, through this work, as far as the Safe Routes to School Action Plan, we would be partnering up with the principal of that school and working with a parent champion typically within that school. And then we would have police, we would have engineering, we would have a planner like me all sitting at the table. So, and it just, it helps us look better when we actually do apply for that particular monies of the improvements, just because we've already done the work. So, yeah, but I'm just letting you know that at least we're started in regards to the resolutions, the importance of the program, but we're still trying to, come to a consensus in regards to how can the city help school district.
Thanks. All right, anyone else? All right, we will adjourn. Thank you, everyone.
So happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
No, that's not the time.